Welcome to another episode of the BAP with yours truly, Brian Rosevier, and my legendary co-host, Ryan Perrock. Hey, pal.
How are you, my boy?
Good, good. On today's show, Southwest scaled back heavily on pilots' employment in 2024. Is this the beginning of the end for the pilot shortages? More EVTOL financial advice from Ryan and Brian. NTSB findings on the recent Challenger 604 crash. Pakistan international flight attendants keep going missing. 737 MAX anti-ice system fix is slow going. Ryanair confirms schedule cuts amid delayed Boeing deliveries. And cruise ship passengers have a shitty holiday. Hey, pal.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, let's jump into it. So Southwest Airlines, they've decided to suspend pilot hiring for most of 2024, citing anticipated capacity growth beyond that year. The new hire classes have been put on hold, with job offers deferred starting from April. Pilots with conditional job offers will be moved to a deferred candidate pool until hiring resumes. Goes on to say Southwest hired around 2,000 pilots in 2023, but plans to hire 345 this year. This is aligning with the trend seen in other airlines like Spirit, FedEx, and UPS, who've also reduced pilot recruitment following a surge after the pandemic. Is this cause for concern?
I don't know. It
seems weird, eh?
It is weird. I'm trying to get my brain around it. I mean, is this the start of the sort of slowdown of the pilot shortage?
No, but this is in the States.
Yeah.
And it just seems this article caught me off guard.
It caught me off guard as well, because, I mean, everything up until now has just been about how many pilots are needed, massive sign-on bonuses, and...
Yeah. 2,000 of them got employed there in 2023, 345 of them to be employed.
You know what, man? This just screams of someone at Southwest did some shit maths. Because they maybe overestimated how many pilots they were going to hire, and these are the figures that are being spurred out. But I certainly can't imagine that, you know, this is going to become a trend.
Spirit, FedEx, and UPS all the same, though.
I don't know.
I hope not, because it's been good to ride the wave of, pilots being in such high demand. It's been going on for a while, and I didn't expect it to come to such an abrupt halt.
It's weird, man, because, you know, just this week we've seen adverts for airlines like Nippon Cargo advertising for the first time ever non-type rated ICAO licensed pilots for 747. You know, prior to that, you couldn't get into Nippon Cargo unless you had at least 500 hours of command on a 737.
True.
So I took that as a positive sign. It's like saying, well, you know, so like you said, this one was a bit of a sidewinder.
Do you think it's maybe the US, they sort of over-predicted and then went mad on the pilots' employment last year? Now they're just trying to right-size it a little bit. Could be that. But as you said, there are adverts out in Japan, and we know what's happening in Oz, Hong Kong. So
I think this is a tactic to try and curb the union's demand for pay increases and everything. They're trying to say, you know what, you guys are riding on the fact that there's this massive demand for pilots. We'll adjust the figures a bit, and then you can keep your negotiations tapered down a bit. You know,
you could be right.
I think so.
So obviously, financial advice has become a major talking point on the show. I mean, obviously you and I are big into the investing. I think we've got 3 shares between us. So
we're doing well.
Yeah. So, and one of the bits of advice we've been giving is on the whole EVTOL side, because it's obviously a new sector. And we've pushed the whole Joby narrative for the last year. Joby was leading the race until Monday when we reported it's actually not Joby. It's Volocopter,
Yeah.
European-based. They leading the race, and we left it there. Well, it's not either.
It's changed since then.
It's changed. This was on Monday. It's now Friday. Autoflight has completed the world's first intercity electric air taxi demo between Shenzhen and Zhuhai with the Prosperity EVTOL aircraft, covering a 50k route in 20 minutes. The milestone signifies the first public flight of an EVTOL aircraft on a cross-sea and intercity route, showcasing the company's advanced capabilities. The flight is part of the regional government's plan to develop low-altitude air traffic scenarios for passenger transport, tourism, logistics, and emergency services, with plans for hundreds of EVTOL routes in the Greater Bay Area.
I'm not that impressed.
Why?
50 kilometers in 20 minutes ain't that fast.
No, it's not. But they've look, I think the significant thing here is that they've actually demoed a proper flight in the city.
Yeah, I suppose.
50 Ks in 20 minutes ain't
It's not that quick.
No.
It's not that quick. You bumbling along, okay, it might be scenic, but I mean, what would grab me about these things...
the speed.
It would be, the speed. I want to travel 50 kilometers in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so...
that's what makes it attractive. I mean, for shit's sake, I'd stay in my car. At least then I can,
I hear you.
go where I want to go. Because these things are still going to be limited as to where you can go.
True, but they're going to have proper, what's it say? It's going to have regional governments plan to develop low altitude air traffic scenarios, and so they're going to have specific little routes that these things do. So Joby's obviously the American one. Volocopter is European, and then Autoflight is
The Chinese version.
the Chinese version.
I'm going to keep my money and my investment with Volocopter because
There you can see the shares bombing there at the top. There's Joby. It's gone up. That means I can spend some more ZAR this weekend.
it's cool. It's Friday. It's when we spend most of our money on cold beers.
So we make jokes, but why this is quite interesting is because this is a little bit like crypto in a way, because no one knows which horse to back.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on. It's not like buying a share in Boeing or Airbus or whatever. This is it could be any of these three. This Autoflight could become the Airbus of EVTOL.
Yeah.
And if you get in now, it could be a bit of a decent investment. A financial guru would probably tell you to invest in all three.
Yeah,
But we like
spread the
Spread the risk.
the risk. Yeah. What's that fancy word? Easier.
Yeah.
Don't take the hit on one thing, but
But we're not going to do that.
yeah. Well, because you don't have the bucks to spread the risk.
But yeah, I find it quite funny. Anyway, we'll carry on reporting on that.
Cool.
Findings by the NTSB reveal that the pilots of the Bombardier Challenger 604 received low oil pressure warnings before both engines shut down. They had that dual engine failure, crashed on the Florida highway.
Look, when your engine shuts down, you're going to get low oil pressure warnings anyway.
I know.
That still doesn't answer.
It doesn't.
Doesn't point towards the cause.
No.
It's weird.
These findings, there was another one. I actually took it off the news for today because it was a bit old. I think it was a 221 Qantas pilot. I believe they shut down the wrong engine. They mistook a fuel leak for it. They actually had the fuel cross feed on, and they mistook it for a fuel leak. But this thing happened in 221. Then it reports, so this was the Australian Safety Board, and they've come out with these findings now. And you think, but I mean, surely everyone would have been debriefed. It would have become clear pretty soon that, okay, maybe the pilots misidentified something. I mean, 3 years later for the report to come out, it seems a bit archaic. And then you have something like this, and obviously they got a low oil pressure warning if the engine shut down. It's just weird. They have like these preliminary things come out, but they mean absolutely nothing until 3 years later when the main report comes out. So
it points towards they've got guys writing this report that actually don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, or they
really.
just, it becomes like a news-based thing
Yeah.
more than anything else. This one's a bit scary. Pakistan International Airlines flight attendants have been mysteriously disappearing during stopovers in Toronto, with the most recent incident involving Mariam Raza on flight PK782. The disappearance adds to a series of similar events over the past few years. Isn't it a bit random?
Yeah, it's why so many disappearances
In Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's either something very conspicuous going on there, or there's a very interesting shopping experience.
Leave it. Okay. That actually wasn't supposed to be a funny news story.
Sorry, yeah. I was taken back at just the flight numbers. I mean,
PK.
yeah. Only South Africans would find that funny.
All right. Boeing's slow progress in finding a fix for the anti-ice system has led to uncertainty about the timeline for approval of the MAX 7 and 10. This was quite funny. Picture popped up on the net because they've got a real Boeing way of solving the problem. The skipper sticks it up there. Hey, remember to turn it off in 5 minutes. So that was the original fix. FAA said negative, Ghost Rider. Those days are over for Boeing. You've got to come up with an idea, and it's taking a little bit too long.
Doesn't it remind you of those orange stickers at Saks?
Yeah. Looked like a Christmas tree. There's so many defers. Ryanair is facing schedule cuts as Boeing will deliver only 40 out of the expected 57 jets by June, leading to reduced flight schedules across its network. I suppose it makes a difference. 17 aircraft there. It's going to affect their schedule quite hectically.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So Boeing, it's hard to get a positive story out of them these days. And this last one for today, I said a few passengers had a shitty time on a cruise ship. So a small number of guests on the Norwegian Dawn's South Africa voyage experienced mild stomach-related illness, prompting a delay in the disembarkation and embarkation in Mauritius for additional testing. 100 people reported diarrhea and recovered, with 15 requiring quarantine with severe symptoms. I hope this doesn't become like, I mean, they probably had a dodgy Durban curry the night before.
Yeah.
And now you're like quarantined off there, and the politicians like, yes, another way to sell $300 gloves to.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so stupid, man.
This is a diarrhea related issue.
I mean, that's not a new thing.
Yeah,
it's not a new. It's not a new thing on a South African.
Masks for that.
It's not a new thing on South African cruise ships, I would assume.
Like
I kind of think if you buy one of those tickets, you're signing up for at least one night of diarrhea.
Boarding pass should come with a box of Imodium. Like, welcome aboard.
I mean, but it's like, there's always a sort of quarantine.
I mean,
quarantine only got used for.
What are you doing on a cruise ship anyway? You partying like it's the year 2000. So there's probably not.
I was gonna say 99.
Yeah. Those are probably more brandy related, but
yeah, 100%. Some cool listener comments. Duncan, thanks for this one. He says, take it easy, my boy. These pale blue dots lurk in the shadows. I've heard nothing from that wanker, by the way.
Is it? I didn't think so.
No. Disgruntled, envious to the extent of jealous and bitter. Often it's a jug of alcohol which pops them over the threshold, and they snipe at you from the shadows, safe in their anonymity. And how do you...
Anonymity.
Don't rise to the bait, Brian. There are some nasty folk out there skulking like hyenas, waiting to nip at your heels. 100%.
Yeah, so true.
So true. Thanks, Duncan, for that one. And then this one from Captain Phil on On YouTube, I have in the past had to issue a memo to pilots on taking videos in the flight deck. This was actually due to the fact that you might have ongoing MEL snags that can be glaring and can cause issues. So you will not perhaps hear the same ban lifted for pilots. It's true. I don't think, obviously, we spoke about that was in relation to the Qatar cabin crew that are now allowed to take pictures.
And then I said, what about in pilots? And
it's not going to happen for pilots. I don't think pilots even want to
take selfies.
No, some oaks do. Some oaks. Some guys love their self. And then taking pictures of food as well in the aircraft is a big thing.
Yeah, no, that I've never understood.
Yeah. Almac, airline of choice, says Boeing 707. It looked like the business shrank the world, and today's modern machines don't do much more than it did in the 1960s. BizJet choice PC-24, the type of flying it will do is appealing, where it will go and what it will do. A Gulfstream is legit, but I have no desire to sit in an aircraft for that length of time.
True story.
100%.
Yeah. No,
Almac is on the money.
100% on the numbers. I mean, that PC-24 is actually...
I like
that.
it.
That looks the business as well. It's a sexy-looking little jet there.
Do you sometimes feel when you read the comments, it's like... how come our listeners know more than we do?
Well, that's. I'm not surprised. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, we're not the.
It's not the accuracy of that.
Yeah.
But no, thanks for the comments. Keep them coming, and then we're gonna be reporting on them. F1 this weekend.
Yeah, somehow I still thought it was starting much later, but it's crept up on us. And still can't figure out why the race is on a Saturday.
I know. Next weekend, I think, is Saudi. It's also on a
I wonder if it's
Saturday, I think.
You know what? I've just realized it might have something to do with Ramadan. Isn't it Ramadan now? I don't know.
I don't know.
I heard someone talking about the other day. I'm like, so probably.
Don't give bad information.
Sorry, okay. Anyway,
people are relying on us for accurate Formula 1 and UFC schedules.
Okay, so the race is on Saturday. 5
race
o'clock
is on Saturday.
South African time.
Who's going to win?
Yeah. Verstappen. He has to.
Yeah, it's the build-up. I mean, the new Drive to Survive is on Netflix. Pretty good. Have you been watching it?
Yeah, I started, but I haven't really gone through it.
It's quite cool. It's there, but there's been very little build-up to the F1 season.
Yeah, it's weird because there's been so much shit behind the scenes now prior to this. I mean, you got Ferrari that have picked up a new driver for next year.
Christian Horner's in trouble.
And
Christian Horner shouted at someone, I think, and now he's in trouble. Haas have a new principal.
And
there's a lot going on. It'll be a good season.
I think so.
It'll be a good season.
Look, I think, I'm definitely looking forward to the first race. I want to see what these new cars are all about, and let's see if there's an indication of what the season's going to be like from this first race.
100%.
Yeah.
As always, if you enjoyed the show, give us a thumbs up. If you have a question, leave a comment. We'll talk about that comment on the show. And if you want to see more videos like this, then hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you all. Thanks for choosing Ryanair as your aviation podcast of choice. Thank you, Paul.
100%. Have a lucky weekend. Cheers,
Bye for
everyone.
now.